Hey, so this is the tutorial on the BPMN system from SemTalk. For this example, we're going to be using a customer going to the Amazon website and procuring their items. The first thing we're going to talk about is this big box that has all the smaller symbols, and text in it. Now, this is called a swim lane. As you can see right here, next to my cursor, you can see it says swim lane customer. Now, if I wanted to essentially add more to it, or essentially if I wanted to change the name of it first, I would click on this. You can double left click on this, and then this shows how you can use this in order to change the name. Now, also an important task is adding this entire box itself. Now, adding this entire box itself would require taking this and dragging and dropping. Now, these are going to be the two most important tools here: pan and zoom and stencil. You can see these by going to home, going to pan, and going to stencil. Once you click on those, these should pop up somewhere within the diagram that you're building currently, and you'll be able to use these to drag and drop. The stencil also has advanced symbols as well, and other symbols that could help if you wanted to involve external events and all that in terms of through hyperlinks or images and other things. Now, one important thing to see here is that the swim lane, the way to put that in is, first let me use the pan and zoom. I'm going to move us over here to the right. As you can see here, I can put in a swim lane. Now, this swim lane is then nice, it's good, but I can also do this. If you see it highlight blue, it means you're putting it inside of this swim lane, which would create a pool. So now if I did this, I could do this, and I put a third one in now. This also depends where you're putting it in. Now, if you're putting a swim lane here, that means you're putting it underneath the second row, and it is then underneath the second row's category. Put it here, it means both of these have the same responsibilities. And then this is underneath the bigger one here. Now this says swim lane, but in terms of this would be a pool, so I would say pool. And then if we go over, this would be swim lane 1. And this would be swim lane 2. And that's just an example of doing that. So, but that's how you do it. You gotta wait till it's highlighted blue, and then it'll move in for itself. Now here we're going to get rid of all three of these because these are unimportant. I just wanted to show you how that operates. Now, back to this. So if we're using an example of customer going to the Amazon website, the first thing we do is we have a start event. Now this start event is important because every swim lane starts with a start event. There are also different types, as I'll show you later, but I'll also show you now real quick. There's a start, intermediate, and end event. And there's different trigger types to see what they do: escalation, termination, compensation, multiple, signal, rule, error, timer, message. Now most of these you won't really see, but we're just showing you these for now to show that it is possible to delineate different methods for which an event would start or what it would trigger. Now, for example, let's say we got rid of this. We need a start new. So what we do is we drag a start event over here. We'd say right here, perfect. I'd put in customer goes to Amazon website. Now, in order to show this connects to there, you could do one of these. There's task, end event, gateway, and intermediate event. Now, that is one way of doing it. If I click this, I would immediately have a task over, and this is what I would have done in the original. Now, I'm not going to do that for this one, so what you do instead is you grab this, and if it's green, it will connect automatically. You can also make sure that that looks a little bit better, like this. Straight lines are nice. And the customer, then you go through this, and the customer will then hit their first task. Now, task you can also drag and drop from here, as well as other things such as the gateway as well, like this. Now, tasks also have different things. If I, for example, wanted to delineate this as a send or receive, you could do stuff like that, which indicates that they're going to send something. And then anyway, so what I would then go on to talk about is customer browses through the online wares. So as they do that, you can have these things. This allows you to connect it to different symbols. Now, green means it can be connected. Red means it cannot be connected. Now, one important thing is that we're going through here you can always click on these as well, and then it will produce an automatic connection to whichever event that you have picked. Now in this case, we're not going to do that, but as we can see, after these two tasks, we get to our first exclusive gateway. Now gateways have different things that you can do with them. Exclusive data with marker, exclusive event. All these just show that the gateways do different things. Exclusive in this case means only one of the two options may be chosen. So then what we do in this case, we drag and we drop like this. So if I was to get rid of this, I would drag and drop like this, and I would understand, oh, that does not look good. I do this, boom. And if you double click on the line itself, you can type no. And there we go. Now, in the event that it is yes, we'll use the pan zoom and we'll move out here. So if it's a yes, we get to the checkout. Now, checkout is an intermediate event because we're starting a whole new process in terms of paying the order. Now, when a customer pays the order, we're assuming that in this case they're using a credit card. Now, with a credit card, you'll see this. This kind of flow here is called a message flow. This is a sequence flow here. Message flow you can get by going to style and changing it to a dashed line. Now, if I got rid of this, this would be a sequence flow, which this is not, because because the pay order is sending information to, and let me show you real quick, to the credit card company, which is up here in their own swim lane. Now the credit card company's own swim lane then has the start one with credit card information received. They have their own start event. One would get that by going here, clicking on this, going to properties, going to BPMN, doing the trigger type message. See one like that, you can immediately put that in. And then they've dragged it, and then we've dragged it to here. They take the payment, and then depending on the result, if the payment is taken or not, or depending on if the payment is taken or not, they send the result. The result will tell us, sending a message here again through this message flow, back to pay order. Now pay order will then do a sequence flow here to this gateway. And this gateway is telling us, was payment accepted? Obviously extremely important. Let's say, for example, they said no. We'll drag a sequence flow down this way, like this. We go like this, we go boom, and we go like that. Obviously, we're not going to do directly like that because that's ridiculous. But they did no. So let's say no, retry. We can, we don't have, or we can, or the customer can, it's their choice. But let's say the customer doesn't want to. Then this is an error sign with an end event on top. Now the end event is delineated by a thicker border. Now what happens? Nothing. The whole process ends, and then it'll start again when another customer goes through. Now let's say they retry, and they say yes, the pay order, it goes through all of this, where the pay order goes up here, credit information, take payment, send result, go back down here, pay order, go up here to payment accepted, and let's say payment is accepted. We're like, fantastic. So they send the order then through here. This order sends a message here. They send the order here to the Amazon company. Now here we see a pool with two swim lanes inside of it. So the Amazon is the pool because both of these workers are falling underneath the Amazon firm itself. So the first thing we do is they pick the order, the picker. Then he has a sequence flow where he picks the items. Then he goes and he places these items in the bin. And then he brings the bin over to the packager. The packager will then receive the items, send the package to the courier dock, receive and package the items, and then send the package to the carrier dock. And now both of their jobs are done until the next order comes in. Now, this will then have a little message flow because he has to let the carrier know that the packages are available to be picked up. So he picks up the packages, loads them onto his truck, sends a message flow over here, he delivers the items, and then his job is done. Now, when we deliver the items, we're then using a message flow again. This does not mean that there's a message, but just that the flow is going elsewhere, and we don't want to use a sequence flow in order to delineate that. So it goes up here, and goes back to the customer swim lane where they receive the items. Whether it is giving them to them in hand, the neighbor takes it and then gives it to them later, or they're left on the property, does not matter. It's just they receiving the items. Then the whole event, the whole chain ends when the customer has their items in hand. Now this is done easy enough because all you need to do is add an event and then add a name underneath there. We did not talk about comment. Gate data or system. System is just where there's another system outside of everything else that you do not want to get into complex detail with, so you use this. in order to delineate that. There's data, which in terms of everything means that, for example, something is needing to be checked in an inventory, or you need to go through their own database. That is just to show that they are checking that themselves. And then there's also comment, which is used in case of someone having something they need to say which cannot be used. They cannot use all the other symbols for. It needs to be specifically said, as there are instances where such situations or circumstances occur where the comment is needed to help clarify everything. This is the logo for the SemTalk firm, as well as URLs for the English and German website. Now, both these will be available in links down below in the description, as well as having the ability to answer any questions you have on the website. If you have any specific queries, there are also various ways to contact us available on the website as well. And I hope you become more efficient in using our system and be able to help yourselves and work with us.